says minimum not enough to sustain Team FGC members impacted. It hasn't been a month since 2SKO finally launched, but the game apparently already facing some setbacks. Riot Games made an unfortunate announcement today that the downsizing 2SKO's development team moving forward with a large margin. The news came from a blog post pinned 2SKO's executive producer, Tom Cannon, discussing the staff reduction and moving forward with the game. He states that the League of Legends fighting game didn't hit its sustainable point to keep the team intact, despite the most positive perception to the title. After a lot of discussion and reflection, we are reducing the size of the 2XKO team. Real Cannon, I want you to know that the decision wasn't made lightly. As we expanded from PC to console, we saw the consistent trends in how players were engaged with 2XKO. The game has resonated with a passionate core audience, but overall momentum has not reached the level needed to support a team this size for long term. With smaller focused teams, we're going to dig in and make key improvements to the game, including some of the things that were already heard. If you ask, we'll share some of those plans soon. There's no mention of Riot's support plans change for 2XKO beyond saying that their competitive series is staying the same, but they're obviously going to have to be some shifts made behind the scenes. Ultimately, the decision reflects a shift on how we operate. This isn't a judgment on individuals, rioters, or a signal that the journey is over. I hope not. God, I hope not. We're reshaping our team to give 2XKO a more sustainable path forward. Although it's not been stated in the post how many Riot employees were impacted, the company told game developers that approximately 80 staff members, yikes, were laid off, which equates to around half of the game's global team. Yeesh. Not great. Not good. Not good at all. I mean, that is the risk that you're running when you release a free-to-play game. A free-to-play game has to live off like the people that are playing the game, yes, but also microtransactions, the money in the game, people spending money on costumes and things of that nature, right? If you're not going to have any kind of play to win, you're going to you can have a bunch of people playing the game, but nobody's spending money. Like, how does it sustain itself, right? This obviously isn't exactly the best look for the game. Launched this week ago, but it's not surprising. It's very common for development teams to get cut down following the title's release, since those full resources are not needed to sustain the game. That the updates and content, once the core systems have been complete, they can just piece stuff out next. And then people move on to the next project, after the bulk of the game has been produced, Using half of our staff to a scale team does not sound like it was part of Riot's initial plans either, however, which goes back to the statement about the game not gaining enough momentum, which is crazy. Riot has never announced the download or player number of 2XKO, so that could also point into the fighting game having a softer launch than company wanted. Since 2XKO is a free-to-play fighter, most of the game's revenue is coming from cosmetics, battle passes, and character sales, which makes this move sound like there's either not enough players or the players that are there are not spending enough money on the service. Things like costumes have been quite a bit more expensive than the fighting game players are used to. Around 20 USD for legendary skins, about 60 or 80. That's why. Since 2XKO team consisted of many fighting game community veterans, some of them were impacted by being laid off. While it seems like the likes of Apology Man, Marilyn, and Combo Fiend are still a part of Riot, others like Pathfilt and Alex Blinkney, Jeffy, and Nerd Josh were not so lucky. Former saying they only got 30 minutes of notice after being on the project since the beginning. Shit. Ken does say that they were helping laid off members to attempt to find jobs at Riot and providing at least 6 months of notice and severance to those who they can't. Riot Games acquired the Cannon Brothers Radiant Entertainment Studios back in 2016, and we finally got this project right here. Although the current 2SKO has likely only been full of production for a few handful of years. We've known about it since 2019, and that's what really makes it suck, man. That's all for me. Alex Jeffy said, so proud of this thing and people who made it. 8 great years of my life. I've got to design Echo and lead to Champs team. Dreamy. Devastating goodbyes all around, but I want this game to go hard for the FGC. And for those who can remain, you can do it 2XKO. See, that's how you know you're really proud of a thing. Like, you got fired from the thing, but you're still like hoping it succeeded. It's really dope. Man, we did it just previously see another free-to-play fighting game implode on itself after initial hype with the shutting down multiverses. Totally different situation, but that game faced its own unique issues, which led to Warner Brothers title ultimately demised a year ago. Hopefully 2SKO can learn from the missteps and become something that can be seen as a welcome successor for both developers and players. The team has already been much more consistently open and transparent about what's going on with their game and coming next than most of the fighting games that are out right now. That is so true. While 2SKO does have its share of problems, for the most part, the game's core experience is really good, which still is building a community of players diving in all across the fighting game space and others. See, it needs the others more than the fighting game space. Caro, it was an honor bringing Elio, Blitzcrank, and Caitlin to my life in 2XKO. My time on the project is suddenly ending, and my heart is heavy, but I hope you all keep supporting the game. Yo, the passion. Like, 2SKO is the passionist of passion projects, man. Thomas, look, got laid off RIot Games again. 2SKO is everything I wanted in my dream studio, my dream project, animating fighting game characters with some of the best in the industry. I poured my heart into everything, imagine it. Seeing these characters come alive was magic. Man. It's like, they're gonna keep playing, like, you know, some people get laid off of games and like, you know, you're like, I can't even, like, I had a situation, one of my companies had a situation with Capcom, which made me like not like Street Fighter for a long time. Not that I didn't like Street Fighter, but just the company politics will make you not like the game. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are like, no, please keep the game alive. It's good. That's so good. So good. All right, we got another trailer.